Alright, what is up boys? Welcome back to another video, and on this video it is going to be, what the hell is that? Oh, it is going to be a trade recap on today's trade. So yeah, I ended up taking a um an L today. So super unfortunate. Um it's just I am down for the week. So I've lost on Tuesday, I lost on Thursday, and I was tempting to trade in it tomorrow, but I might not even trade tomorrow. I might just look at the chart and then call it a day or something. But I may or may not trade tomorrow, but we'll see how it goes. Um, but yeah, it's a very rough start to the week or the month. Um, but yeah. Hopefully we can make it back up. I'll be trading next week, Monday through Friday, except Wednesdays. I don't trade Wednesdays at all. But it's just on Friday tomorrow. It's NFP. So do I really want to trade that? I mean, the setups that we're getting are not that good, but I'll think about it. I'll think about it. I'll do like a market recap or a trade recap. Depends if I take anything. All right. So let's go ahead and get started on the first trade right here. Okay. So the first trade that I did take, or nah, I didn't take anything. But the first trade that I did see was here on gold. Okay, not on the 5 minute, but on the 1 minute. All right. So right here on the EMAs, as you guys can see, as you guys can see on my other video, I told you guys I was like, all right, I'm not trading gold unless we break out of this consolidation, which we ended up doing, and we even have breakout structure to the upside. And I was like, all right, we're bullish. We're bullish overall now. We're gonna see what we can find for any setups to go for buys. Right, so I did see a 15-minute supply right here, but I never came back to tap my zone. So I was like, you know what, it's fine. The only thing that I did not like about this about gold was that the 200 EMA was slapped in the middle, right? So obviously, whenever the 200's in the middle, we tend to consolidate, right? So I was like, all right, you know what, don't really want to trade gold, but it depends what I see on the 1 minute. Right? So on the 1 minute, okay, 1 minute right here, as you guys can see in this area, we were chopping. Right? On my broker, supposedly the 851 candle did end up tapping my zone, but um on my broker I was like, bro, you know what? I don't want to take this. Just because I'm like, nah, you know what? Like it didn't tap on TradingView, and it did tap on my broker. Like I'd rather it like tap on both of them, you know? So I was like, all right, you know what? It's fine. I'm not gonna take this setup. It did end up winning though. Like if you would have taken this for a breakout, it did end up winning. So for a 1 to 2 RR. But the reason why I did not take this trade was, like I said, didn't tap on TradingView, but did tap on my broker, right? So then either way, we were consolidating for a good minute, bro. Like we were consolidating for a good minute. Like like from 8:51 all the way to 9:10. So about maybe like 20 minutes just straight consolidation, right? And right, we tapped back into the zone right here at 9:17. I was like, all right, you know what? If it gives me a breakout candle to the upside, I will take this, right? Because I don't want to join off of a break of the candle. I want to join off of 13 EMA breakout, right? Never give me that 13 EMA breakout. Tap right back in at 924, tap back in at 926, and then it gave out the breakout candle, right? So this is not the breakout candle because look where it closed, right under the line, right? But this candle at 928 was the breakout candle. I did not want to take this because it closed between the 50 and the 13. So I was like, bro, I don't really trust this candle. I don't want to take this candle. And so if I would have entered this trade, I would have probably had my stop loss on that low, which would have been 7 points. And honestly, I did not want to take that. Um, I was just like, nah. I didn't really like the setup because look where the candle closed right here at 928, and then we just came out of choppiness. We were just chopping around, and then we have like the 200 was slapped in the middle. Um, but the only thing that's the only thing that I didn't like. That I did like was that we did have a 1 minute demand zone that we were respecting. It gave us a breakout candle, but the only reason that we were going with the trend, we created a new high, all that stuff. But the reason why I did not want to take this was just because of the entries that it was giving me. So I was like, you know what, it's fine. I'm gonna pass up on this trade. Ended up winning for a 1 or 2 RR. Like, let's say if I would have entered off of this candle right here, I was like, okay, it almost closed above the 13. I'll have it under this low. It would have went for a 1 or 2. And either way, if you would have entered this trade right here off the 13 EMA breakout, this would have won for a 1 to 3. All right. So now let's go to NQ. Okay, so NQ did me the dirtiest move ever. All right. So let's go ahead and take a look on this, right? So as you guys can see, we were on all-time highs the day that I did the dumbest trade ever. Like, we were on all-time highs on ES. On NQ, we're still pushing for buys. Basically, we created breakout structure to the upside. Obviously we're gonna go for buys. Okay. So we started dumping on Wednesday, right? We started dumping on Wednesday, creating breaking structure to the downside, right? As you guys know, we are creating lows right now at the moment, right? We tapped into this 200 EMA on the 30 minute. Let's go to the 1 minute. Um, okay, on the 30 minute, right? But I don't really like to look at the 30 minute, but it's just like to look at the 15. Okay, so on the 15 EMA, right, as you guys can see here, we already had taken out London's lows during pre-market, but during ES we had taken London's lows at pre-market as well, right? So we didn't have anything to go based off of any highs or lows, and we were just consolidating on ES. As you guys can see here, EMAs are straight slapped in the middle. But on NQ, what I did like about NQ was that we started pushing up to the upside, right? And as well as we are going with what's it called? We're not going with the trend, but we did create break of structure right here. As you guys can see, we took out these highs, we took out London's high, we even took out Asian's high, right? We're going with the trend now. What it basically means is that we created break of structure back up to the upside. So obviously I'm gonna go what the trend is giving me right now at the moment instead of what is going on overall. Because overall we're technically still bearish, but right now on the 5 minute we are bullish, right? So we had this 5 minute demand zone that the 200 EMA was inside the zone, right? I did not want to take this trade um, on the 5 minute. I wanted to enter on the 1 minute. So I entered right here, right? So this was the first trade. Okay, like I said, I have been trading on the 1 minute a lot more, and we were up, or I was up a 1 to 1 RR and above, but I did not exit my trade because I wanted it to go for that 1 or 2, right? On the 1 minute, I have this rule saying that I have to go for 1 or 2 RRs no matter what. Like, that's the minimum. 1 or 2 RR minimum, right? If it's on the 5 minute, then yes, 101, but yeah. So right here, as you guys can see, we never came back to tap my zone right here at 929. And I was like, all right, you know what? That's fine. I was like, if we tap my zone and we give a breakout, that's even better, right? But I was like, all right, we close below these candles, the 13, and then we close back above. I'll take that too. Like, I wouldn't mind taking that. So it did do that for me at 932. I ended up taking this trade right here for 27 points. I ended up trading with 2 contracts. I ended up winning, well, not winning, but I was up around $130 on this trade, and then it tended to reverse, right? So the 1 or 2 was above this high right here, and my 1 to 1 was right there. So I was like up around $130, but it, like I said, it tend to reverse. I could have gone break even, but I still had confidence in this trade, because sometimes whenever you do trade a 13 EMA breakout, it tends to retrace and then goes back up. All right, so I was like, all right, you know what? It's fine. I'm just gonna take this trade and I'm gonna take it because, like I said, like I told myself, like right, we created breaker structure to the upside, right? Um, had we taken out Asia sessions? Yes, we already had taken out Asia sessions highs and all that. Um, so I was like, all right, you know what? It's fine. I'm gonna take this breakout, right? We have breaker structure to the upside. We tend to close below the 13. Now we close back above. It was a good candle closure to the upside, and I was like, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take this, and it did not go for that 1 or 2, right? And so, if you guys are wondering, oh, then why didn't you wait for your zone? Why didn't you, wait for it to tap? Like you said, it was even better setup if it did tap your zone. Okay, so now once it tapped my zone right here at 939, as you guys can see here, the 1 or 2 was above that high. Okay, it gave you the breakout candle, which I don't like to trade on. Like I said, I want to wait for it break out 13 EMA, right? So if you would have tend to entered off of this trade, which is a candle break, you would have caught the 101, but you would have not caught the 1 or 2. And like I said, I set this new rule saying that I have to catch that 1 or 2 minimum, just to have a better RR, better win ratio, and all that stuff. So yeah, and as you guys can see, we did close above the 50, but we didn't close above the 13. So if you would have entered this trade right here, either way, you would have ended up losing. Um, and as you guys can see here, we tapped in one more time. Um, right here at 946. So if this was your first trade and then you would have taken the second trade, you would have ended up losing both trades. Right now, if you would have entered this trade, this would have won, right? And then also gave you a breakout candle at 950 if you would have taken this, and this also won. So it took basically 3 trades in order for you to win this one setup on NQ for buys, which is really, really super unfortunate, right? Because it did give us a breakout candle over here and it was about to create that high, but tend to reverse, stopping you out. Then it came back to tap the zone not once but twice, and then it pushed up on the second time. Right, so this is very, 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 very unfortunate of this day. Like I said, I did wanted it to take. I did. I mean, I didn't. But what's it called? What was I gonna say? Oh, bro, my brain just went. But what I was gonna say is, but yeah, super unfortunate because I really did like this setup right here. I also like this setup right here, which I was like, I was looking at it. I was like, all right, I'm not gonna take any trades. I'm just gonna look at it, and I was like, oh, it's about to win, 10, and then boom, reversed. All right, and then I'm like looking at this one. I'm like, oh, okay, this is the third setup. Let's see how this goes. Boom, reversed. So yeah, it took 2 trades in order for you to win this, right? A simple 13 EMA breakout right here, and then we had the demand zone right here on the 5 minute, right? And then if you would have also taken this trade on the 5 minute of a break of the candle, which was 53 points, you would have taken out this high, would have been a 1.5 RR, and this one was actually really good. This one did end up actually winning, and on the 5 minute, but I was just, you know, taking the setup on the 1 minute. But like I said, bro, super, super, super unfortunate. Mm. But yeah, this was the good setup right here on the 5 minute. I think the 5 minute actually did good. It came through, but on the 1 minute, just did us dirty. But that is gonna be it for this trade recap. I hope you guys enjoyed my analysis or whatever. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. Make sure you guys join the Discord. It's completely free, boys. So make sure we can chat up on there, and then make sure to go follow me on Instagram. I'll link the link down below. But yeah, boys, that is gonna be it, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.